Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this video we are refreshing things up. That's right, we're bringing back the YouTubes, bringing back the whatever you want to call it. But before we start, I gotta be straight with you guys. I've been playing a little bit. So being that I kind of lost interest in YouTube for a little bit, and now that I just got it back, most of the getting it back part came because of where I'm at in my sort of casual single player world. So what I decided is, well, I play this world a lot. I enjoy doing what I do on here. So I'll just bring you guys along with me. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to tour the base that I have built and look at the fun things that I've done in the past too. So I don't know how long this video is going to be, and you know, I will make a quick note here that I am actually recording this after the clips to come, simply because I've been having a couple problems, but you know, nothing too major. So we'll just press forward. So this is the first village that I found in this world. It's actually right next to spawn, because I spawned like over there somewhere. And I decided I didn't really want to disturb this village too much. So I just took a couple of like things like beads and all that. I didn't actually do that. I replanted everything I took so that it would grow back so I could maintain the look of the village. And of course I did take a couple of the villagers for some of the farms I'll be talking about later, the village breeder. I've already got a beacon, got the nether portal here, which will go here today. But the first thing I want to show you is this. This was my starter area. When I first came into this world, I came to this spot, and after I decided I want to settle down in these mountains, this mountainous area, I started making my home. So my first little starter area was just a hole in the dirt right here. I had like my chests over here with the furnace and a couple things. I had my other stuff over here. I don't even remember what the heck I had in here, to be honest. It was so long ago. But this is where it started, everything. And this went down to the mines, which I've actually recently converted into something else. But we'll get into that later. Actually, let's go into that right now. So upon looking for a way to increase my slime production, because I'm making a lot of pistons, I found a quad slime chunk in my pretty much in spawn. So I was like, that's really nice. So it probably doesn't look like there's a lot of slime in here at the moment, because I literally just harvested it not too long ago. In one of the clips I had to redo because of audio problems and things. But you know, it's efficient enough for me that, and for what I'm using currently, that I don't really care if it's too efficient. I mean, there is this point where things become so efficient that you can't even deal with it. So I don't want to do that. I just want it to be super efficient. So this is the first thing I build when I decided this is the reason why I chose to settle down here, is this right here. When I saw this mountain face, it was actually kind of a flat mountain. I was just like, that is perfect. I literally like envisioned something like this, like the Mines of Moria is kind of the inspiration for this build here. This little building right here on the side, don't know what that's going to be for yet. Can leave some comments in the video description. This one over here leads down to the mines where I actually get like my ores and stuff. And then these sheep are just waiting for a home. That's their story. So yeah, that's lily pad is actually strategically put there. It didn't spawn there, so that I could do what I literally just did. It's for quick getaways from like mobs, because at some point I didn't light this up. I think this is also kind of poorly lit up still, so I can still get a couple mobs here and there chasing me. So I'll just jump from there, jump, and, you know, over. And then you got a double protection layer here with the carpet. Oopsie, that was wrong. So yeah, there's a hole here, and the way mob spawning works, because this is a 4 deep hole, mobs will not try and walk over it. Oopsie. Well, that didn't work. So, being that they don't walk over it, they'll just stand right there in front of it and be like, what do I do? Because they're dumb zombies and things of that sort. So, if you ever want to have like a big open doorway, but still don't want mobs getting in your place, here's a great way to do it. Yeah. This floor, I think this floor is great. I came up with this design myself. It's really simple, but it really has a nice look on like a big scale, because you got the andesite in the corners surrounding a dropper, which is, they're all facing the same way, or facing in towards the center of the building. So that way it doesn't matter where you are. For the most part, you only see the sides of the dropper, which looks really cool. If I could, I would have done a downwards facing dropper, so that way you only had these sides, but I didn't have the resources to do that at the time. I may redo that at some point. I don't know. I might just leave it as it is. So over here under the sugarcane farm, which, you know, not a really big sugarcane farm, fairly simple. I designed this myself. It's basically just an etho hopper clock with a toggling system that just basically has these pistons push out, pushing the sugarcane into this water stream. It's super not that efficient because they can obviously fly over and land on here, but you know, it's a passive thing. It's just, for the most part, working around the clock. I have it turned off right now because of how much sugarcane I have. As I get using this more and more, I'll probably make a more permanent sugarcane farm that is actually legitimately efficient. But this is working for me for now. But under this, we have a little furnace array. So you got your output chest here with a hopper, your furnace, which is being fed by this chest and this hopper constantly with fuel, and then you got a chest, your input chest and input hopper here. So yeah, it's nothing too glamorous. This chest is just here, so if I have like some uncooked things that I need to do, and I don't want to waste a bunch of fuel, I can just stash a bunch of stuff in there, which, to be honest, I don't use too often, but you know, it's there for that in case I want it. So over here we have our enchanting setup. I'm going to close that. So the idea behind this and why I have gold tools here is, first of all, I have a lot of gold, so I can waste gold on stuff like this. But the idea is you take 2 picks like this, you throw your golden pickaxe, and you'll get your enchantments of whatever. And the way I believe it works is, if I put this in here, I will actually get the same exact enchantments, or at least similar enchantments, because this one created the enchantment list for the pickaxe. Because that's one thing I noticed is, as I would throw like an iron pickaxe in here and then, you know, switch it out with a diamond pickaxe or some other pickaxe or whatever, because I would try and get lots and lots of enchanted items for backups and whatnot, they would stay the same for the most part. So that's what the gold is for. I realized that's actually a very valid way to get some pretty decent enchantments on some harder to enchant items. It's not perfect. There's, like you saw, I put the pickaxe in there, and then when I put the second one in there, some of the enchantments changed, but you know, the enchantment that I cared about stayed the same. So in here, we've got the outputs from my fishing farm, which I will go into a little bit later. So that's what these chests are for. And then I've got my books, my enchanted books. These will be my enchanted books from villagers, the fishing farm. Wherever I get an enchanted book, I'm probably going to stash it here. So, yeah, that's the little enchanting area. Down here, I've got my item disposal system. So you just got some items you don't want, you just chuck them in there. And then you can hear the dropper dispensing them. It's just simply, if I break this block here. So yeah, it's basically just a dispenser clock. I mean what is that called? It's a comparator clock. That's it. Which is, you know, shooting items out of this dropper and into a cactus so that it will destroy the items, because that's a fun thing about cactus. They destroy items when you throw them on them. So yeah, that I came up with myself. These two fountains, I was like, I saw this big open space and I was like, that's the perfect spot for a fountain. After I made this top layer, I was like, there's a big gap here, and it was just all that andesite. So I was like, that's a perfect spot to put like a little lava feature. And then I put the after I designed the roof, I put the little chandeliers there. So it's a little background on the building. This I had come up with, I don't know when. It was sort of supposed to be like structural looking struts and whatnot. I think it works, other than it's so dark up there at the top you can't see it. But that leads to this. This is my storage system. So I'll just quickly peruse through all of the items I have. And all of this enchanted stuff I pretty much gotten from like end cities and whatnot. I got a lot of resources in there. And yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to be revealed later on because of the farms I have and whatnot. So, just giving you a quick peruse, because we're going to be looking into here a lot. This is actually a great spot to bring up this. I am using Izuma Void's, or should I say the Hermitcraft extra mob heads. So, you can get these by farming villagers of the various different zombie villagers. You can get them for villagers themselves. As you can see, I've got some Iron Golem ones and some Elder Guardians and so on and so forth. Got some ice. And a lot of this stuff probably was generated from like most of this stuff, and these were all generated from my fishing farm that I'm going to get into. This is from end raiding, more end raiding, brewing, which is why actually these are sitting here, because I've got some blaze powder in there that I don't want to waste. So yeah, just various things that I've done to get me to this point where I'm at now. So yeah, you'll also notice for the things that I get a lot of, I put like in 2 chests or something. Like for instance, this one and that one are the same. Then you got this one, which is some overflow items. A lot of these chests will be empty, like this one, because I have all the materials that would normally be in here in a shulker box, like this one and this one, for putting in here, which this is Izuma Void's system for creating, for pretty much having anything you need on hand in a shulker box inside your ender chest, because we can carry a lot of things when you put items in shulker boxes like this. It makes it really convenient. So check out his video. Links will be in the description to all the videos that I mentioned. So got a lot of slimes, got a lot of feathers, a lot of mob drops, and just various other bits and bobs. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I got there. If we come over here, you will see that I have Alright, so this room is probably one of my favorite rooms, as it's the room where I did this, the kind of stalactite roof, and this kind of tiled looking floor. It's actually the first time I literally looked up like how to do a tile floor, for instance, and this was one of the designs that came up, is you do like one tile this way, and then you do the same tile turned for 90 degrees. You do a small square tile, another small square tile, another tile, and so on and so forth. So I just literally repeated that pattern over and over again. I think it looks pretty good. It made for a nice, consistent floor, but also kind of slightly random. And this is really fun because for me, because I haven't done a lot of these like organic looking stuff, and I personally don't think I'm very good at it, but yet this still turned out pretty good in my opinion. I'm very pleased with this. So, if we come through here, you'll see I have Impulse SV's Villager Breeder. And you can see we're getting some villagers. Yeah, gonna be getting all them emeralds. So yeah, basically when I want to work with them, I just pretty much stand here, obviously put some like blocks here, and I'll AFK there so the villagers can just do their thing. And I'll put a video link in the description to Impulse SV's video on how to actually make this. I think this guy's a nit. Yeah, he's a nit. He's a nitty. Alright, so moving on. I especially loved how I used these buttons as like low pebbles. Continuing up the staircase, we have this railway, which literally was just that railway in the other room. I just kind of routed it over here, and I'm just kind of manually putting them in the various stalls. So as you can see so far, I have a Fletcher, I believe this guy is. Oh, leather worker. Always get that wrong. A cleric and a armorer. So we're kind of early in the villager trading thing, but you know, we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. And these flames are able to stay here like this because I have fire tick off, which it makes for some pretty fun stuff like that happening. And then I also don't have to worry about things being burned to the ground, like wood, trees, if I light them on fire or stuff like that. So there's a lot of these little dropways. I use those all the time. Then coming over here, we have the main chute of my base. So we've got a little nano farm here, which I've used only once and have never used again. Another drop chute. This one, because of how long it is actually got water there. Because from this point here, all the way down to bedrock, I have a tunnel. So it's incredibly fun to go down because, well, it was incredibly fun to build this thing, and I totally am in love with it. The reason you're probably thinking, like, why isn't it finished? Well, this wall is actually here in case I want to put, like, for instance, a snow farm or something right here. I can do that. Obviously, I don't need to put another snow farm because I've got one right over here. So these two guys, Mr. Olaf and Frosty, are snowmen, are just chilling there. Because they're sitting in fence gates, they won't actually move from there. So if I grab a shovel, or if I were to just turn this on, it will actually shoot shovels out at me. Every so often I could just sit here and just get massive amounts of snow really, really quickly. And the reason you're not seeing like a massive buildup of snowballs, let me turn that off real quick. So input chest for that. The reason you're not getting like a large quantity of snowballs on top of this thing is because there's actually 2 hopper minecarts in those blocks, which are just pulling the snowballs down through and into a hopper line going into that chest over there. And apparently you're not aligned correctly. So we're going to fix that real quick. Gotta make sure you got your snowmen in line. Otherwise, they don't make snow. Frosty, my man. Come on. Get with the times, bro. Anyway, so, yeah. That's my snow farm. There's more farms down there, but I want to talk about this. This was the first build natural that I did natural in this world. I think it looks pretty cool and really, really fun. Like, I got some hidden lighting back in places just to kind of give it some kind of a spooky vibe about it. And I'm sorry, it's kind of dark in spots. But this leads all the way to my crop farms that I got going. And one thing you'll find common is I always have like an access to an ender chest and some sort of a crafting or furnace. I don't have a furnace here for some reason, which I need to fix that. So moving on with the base tour. We've got down over here, this is my fishing farm, which pretty much everybody knows how to build one of these days. I've just gotten I got a really good fishing rod. Again, another chest, another ender chest. And I have this to where I can just turn that off to make sure when I'm sitting here doing my fishy that nobody comes and attacks me, because there is the the nether portal right here for that. Right here we've got my cow farm, so got plenty of room for steak and all. When you just want to breed a cow, you just boom, boom. They make the lovey-dovey, and then boom, we get a cow. Or should I say calf. And I have worked really hard to make this place pretty much spawn-proof. There is probably a couple spots here and there that spawns can happen. But for the most part, because of the way I've lit it up, there's like no spawns. So this is my chicken farm. And the other reason I need all that thing of feathers, because this thing produces a lot of feathers. This is my melon and pumpkin farm. Just observer powered, so... And it would be collecting those, except for it's kind of backed up at the moment. I need to clear house. Again, another combo there. Continuing down, we have the first tree farm, which I built, which really didn't work that great. I mean, it's not the best tree farm out there, but it worked for early game. I think I used it once and maybe got the logs to like here. It's a compactor type. It just puts all the logs into like a big block. So yeah, you put your bone meal in here, put some bone meal in, and it'll fill up these hoppers and this dropper, which is all empty because I pretty much abandoned this farm. But I've decided that I'm actually going to just keep the world, the sort of things as I went along going. So basically the way this works is you just have this right here is a clock. You need to have this here, otherwise this thing, it will be clicking so fast that this dropper can't dispense the bone meal. So when you want it on, well, normally you just turn it off like this, and then it would just fire. But actually no, this normally goes there, so it'll go like that. But yeah, anyway, I forget how that actually worked, but it was very simple and very early game stuff. Over here we have a farm I actually need to move because it's kind of needs to be abandoned. So right here, it used to be pretty much similar to this, except for this spot was filled and these two spots all the way down were filled. This was my nether wart farm. I'm actually going to move that to a different spot because this, which is my mob farm, and now my beacon are obstructing it, so it's not going to work the way I wanted it to. And I mean, I'll probably leave like one row here just as a homage to what it was, but I'm not going to keep it. My massive cactus farm. Got a pig farm. I actually have another farm in the works. It's a sheep farm. I just don't have the I have the sheep and everything. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So you can access the food from there too. Continuing down, we have the we have a little transition point here because due to one of my farms, I've actually had to rework the stairway, and it's this farm right here. I am really proud of this one. It's made by the design was made by Il Mango. It's his fully AFKable universal single log tree farm. By far the most efficient design I have ever seen. So got a little maintenance area here, and there was a viewing window. So yeah, as you can see, you pretty much come in and it's the redstone smacks you right in the face. That's why I had to rework the stairs. As you can see, I was literally building onto the stairs. So yeah, that was fun. Oop. Okay, so I'm not gonna really go over too much of how this tree farm works because Il Mango does a great tutorial on it. It is a fairly long tutorial, but I'll let you guys know. I mean, I'll put it in the video description if you want to check it out. So yeah, basically it harvests the trees, gives you saplings, and then the logs will be transferred over here to this blast chamber, which is also made by Il Mango, which he does a way better job of explaining. So just go watch his video on how to make it and what it does. So after it does its thing, it will drop the wood or stone or whatever into this waterway, which then goes down to my storage system, which we will get to in a little bit. And if you're wondering why that slime's there, there's a slime trunk right around here. That's why he's spawning, even though there's technically no spot, quote unquote, like no level 7, light level 7 spots. So if you're ever wondering, this is the spot you need to look at to know whether or not a mob can spawn here. If Blocklight or Skylight, or both, or should I say, if both of them go below 7 or are equal to 7, a mob can spawn in that spot. So as you can see, there's no 7s right here. The lowest it dropped down to was 8, and so we're good. We won't get any spawns. Also, fun fact, mobs cannot spawn on redstone. So if you wanted to, you could put redstone in places to stop the spawning, but in some places that's not exactly convenient. So yeah, in here is where the workings of it is. You got your bone meal, your levers for your various types of logs, and again, I'm not really going to go over how this farm works because Il Mango does a way better job than I do. Go watch his tutorial. So then it goes down. This wall just lets me know that that the tree farm's there, that I can't build there. So I'm actually just going to take the drop shaft because pretty much all that little distance I just fell from the spot to here was empty, so not really a whole lot of point in wasting time. So again, we got chest, crafting table. This time I actually got a furnace in there. It's just kind of tucked away in there. This will be my future storage input. It will just pull up, hoppers will pull out the items and they'll come over here to whatever point and go into a dropper, elevator, and then get shot around the storage system. This right here is my rail duplicator. So I just pull this lever and it duplicates all the rails that I could ever need. So that's why I've got a massive amount of rails. It's a very simple design. I cannot take any credit for it because I did not come up with this design. I watched a video from OMG Chad explaining it, but you can really see right here basically everything you need. Although I will note he only had it where there was 2 rail types, and then I built onto that with all 4. So it does work in longer intervals, so you can duplicate more things quicker, but you got to remember about the 13 block push limit of a piston. So just keep that in mind. This is my massive storage system, probably the biggest storage system I've ever built ever. This is where the cactus is currently getting collected. Once I get the storage input system working, I'll probably just have that drop straight into the water streams, or maybe I'll have it drop into the beginning of the thing and it'll go around or whatever. Over here we've got my AFK mob farm that I was talking about earlier. I just basically hit that lever, it will close the skylight, making it completely dark. Mobs will drop down, I'll smack them around a bit, they'll drop their loot, it'll go over here to this dropper elevator, and then their drops just end up here. So I have a massive amount of stuff. Somewhere over here I have, oh, right here. This is where currently all my wood is going. So fun fact, this is part of the wood farm, which actually produces enough wood that after 1 hour it almost fills an entire double chest, placing a sapling every 10 seconds, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Alright, so I'll meet you back up at the top and we'll continue the tour. Alright, so now that we're back in the storage room, we're actually going to go to the nether real quick, so that I can show you some of my farms that I have there. And I've already showed you guys this, so we'll just go straight there. Alright. Okay, so we got my very jankily done nether portal up there on top of the thing here. Let's see if I can actually get up there. Yes, I can. So this is another portal that I use to get to get from a farm I will be showing you in a little bit. We also got some portals over that way which go to the end, a mining desert, so I can get all the sand that I need, and for my Elder Guardian temple, because I have a couple of those on this world. Various other things like that. So this is the staircase leading up to the next farm we're going to be doing. So I'm going to get back to you guys when we are up at the top. Okay, so here we are at the top of the world. So here's the thing, guys. This here is where I kill my withers. That's right. I have a wither slayer. So basically, you spawn your wither in here, and then you can just smack them around, and he can't hurt you for the most part. But I have had a couple problems with it. That's why there's some bedrock here, so I kind of got a little irritated one day and just creative mode filled this in with because I used to just have like a block of obsidian there or something. Yeah, that caused me a couple of problems. I've also as I've already mentioned, I've gone to the end and defeated the ender boss. So I have the dragon egg, and I was able to puncture a hole into the bedrock, which if you don't know how to do that, go look up a tutorial, because there's like 1,000,001 of them on that. It's super easy to do. all you need to do is just first of all beat the dragon. So this is my gold farm. The golden donut, if you will, or whatever you guys want to call it. It's not the most efficient farm. You probably heard me say that a lot throughout this episode. Again, this is another rewind clip where I'm coming back from the future because I realized I missed this in my initial tutorial. I mean, not tutorial, my initial tour of the base. So, as always, the traditional duo. This is so I can trash an item if I need to, but this is where all my gold goes to. This portal links up to that one at the top that I was telling you about. Oh, and we got someone doing a very great demonstration. So basically, the way it works, as you can see by that pigman who just died, you aggro the pigmen, they come rushing to you, and they just stand on that cactus. And actually, the way it's designed, I don't think they can get backwards up on it. So, normally that would destroy the items, like I was telling you about in my trash can. That's what I use for a trash can. So to prevent the cactus from destroying the items that land on top of it, we actually have a hopper minecart inside the sand block under the cactus. And as soon as an item gets on top of this cactus, because I believe the cactus is not exactly one block size, the hopper minecart is actually able to pull the item through the cactus via magic or something. I don't know how it works. It's a game mechanic that I take advantage of. These ones here at the front, these hoppers here at the front, are for any items that just spill out in front of. And normally I'll just sit here, get this guy just going back and forth. Actually, I think I gotta turn something on. Yeah, that guy. So you just get that going, you grab a snowball, you chuck it, and the pigmen get mad at you. Then when you're done, you turn it off, and you go on your merry way. But the thing is, normally this farm is supposed to be sort of chaining aggro so that when a zombie pigman spawns, they get mad at you, and then they come around and die, and then before they fully die, a bunch of new ones spawn, and they get aggro, and it just keeps going and going and going. But unfortunately, mine doesn't work that way. It only works for about an hour, and then it's done. So, because I want to get full efficiency out of this farm that I can, everything gets smelted down to the most valuable items I can get. So for instance, if a zombie pigman drops a sword, it will get put into a furnace, which will then be turned into a gold nugget, which will then allow me to not have to worry about filtering out the swords and stuff because they're getting smelted down already. The only thing I gotta get rid of is the rotten flesh, which I just pretty much let it come through. I'll just grab it, and then when I'm done, I'll just throw it in the fire to get rid of it. So now we're gonna continue the base tour. I'm gonna go through this portal to show you how I get back quickly. So takes me to this spot that I have absolutely no idea where it is in the world. I could probably figure it out where my base is from this point if I really wanted to, but honestly it's not really that big a deal because I could just go back in here and it will take me to the portal above my main portal, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Takes me to this portal here, and then I just walk over here to this gravel patch, and then right here is my portal to my base. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that. And we'll continue this when I get to the top of the stairs. Alright, so we're back here in the main lobby. Really fun fact, if you actually just come over here to the entrance and look up, if I grab a firework, I can actually just go straight up to my villager trading hall, which is really nice because I can just run over here, drop down, grab what I need if I'm missing something, and then go on with my day. All right, we're going to be going out after I eat a little bit. And we're going to be looking at some of the other stuff I've got going. So some of you will recognize that guy over off in the distance. It is Tango Tech's Iron Phoenix. Again, link in the video description if you want to build it, because he is way better at explaining it and all the shenanigans that go on there. So yeah, I actually had some trouble building this thing initially. There was like villagers getting turned into zombies, and then redstone and in the wrong place, and all kinds of crazy stuff. I even had to redo this entire glass tubing because I had reversed it to where the mainstream was on this side and the side that actually did the village building was on the opposite, which is wrong. So don't make the mistakes I did. I decided to turn this area around it into path blocks for two reasons. One, oh my gosh, get away from them. One is mobs can't spawn on path blocks. The second is golems can't spawn on path blocks. So there's a couple times during the creation of this farm where golems can spawn like around the platforms and whatnot. So that's why I've got the coverings like that guy right there, and then this stuff. But also, it's got a lore to it because it kind of looks dead and kind of toxic in a way. So my thing is, once I get a facade on this thing, I'll also be making sure to give plenty of light for the villages and whatnot. I'm going to say that basically the iron creation, the dwarves figured out a way to create iron infinitely, and in doing so, they also created a bunch of toxicity in the area. So that's basically the story behind why I chose this, and for practicality and not also looks. So if we come down here, this is the entrance to the actual harvesting area for the moment. I've got to obviously make this a little bit better. I mean, you can get ink sacks, so that's kind of nice. So yeah, as you can see right here is the actual spot where we do the harvesting. So I have two modes for this. One, you press this button here, it turns off or on, toggles auto kill mode. And two, I just close that and then I'll put a block here. And then I can go into manual harvest mode where I just kill the golems myself and get like a bunch of mob heads and all that kinds of fun stuff. Currently, this entire thing is filled to the brim, or almost to the brim. I forget which. I think, no, it's filled to the brim because I just did an AFK session not too long ago by this thing, and it produces more iron than I probably can use at the moment, which is awesome. So I'll be able to do future builds with iron and not have to worry about it. So that's pretty much it for the moment, guys, and next episode we're going to be building a Enderman farm. So stick around for that, and I will see you guys later. And don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed watching it. Subscribe so you can see more content, and leave a comment giving me your ideas on things we could do, builds or technical or whatever it is. That's it for me, my friends. Don't forget to stay frosty, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.